So would you say college has benefited you in your entrepreneurial journey? Or would you say that learning in the trenches is giving you a better grasp on how to be an entrepreneur?
So I'd say the one piece that I could pull out of my college degree that I would encourage most entrepreneurs to have in their pockets and is I was able to take two different accounting classes. One, it gave me the benefit of knowing ahead of time I did not want to be an accountant when I grew up. And two, it gives you a good understanding, a baseline understanding of, hey, how does the profit and loss work, your balance sheet, those numbers there inside your business. That way you have more educated conversations with your accountant, with the experts that are in that field as you're growing your business.
So if you had to do it all over again, would you go to college? Or would you actually just try to learn the things that you've actually taken away from your businesses?
I think it'd be easy to say, hey, no, I wouldn't go to college again. But even looking into the industries and the opportunities that are most, I still have a foundation inside of a corporate world that I was able to get because I was pursuing a degree at a degree that without that knowledge I was able to gain there, I probably would not have been able to go as far as fast in the entrepreneur side. So looking back, I still probably would go through that again, but at the same time, recognizing it's not for everybody. We've had people we've hired on our team. We didn't realize they had an MBA till after they started with us because that's just not a place we put a level of emphasis. And we've got other folks on our team that have nothing in the way of college education that are still great.
Wow, it's amazing that it's just two different sides of the story. Because I have a bachelor's degree and I have a master's degree, and I don't put a lot of that to work in my businesses. And I don't know if I'm on the fence. Some of the things I learned in my master's program, I would say yes, okay, go do it, but at the risk of racking up student loan, I don't know if it's worth it or not. I mean, that today, if you can put in hard work and time and learn on the job, and you're smart enough, I think anybody can become an entrepreneur if they truly want to and it's their passion. But if you're truly not excited about that, I don't know why people are really downplaying the trades and where that's going, because we need plumbers, we need electricians, roofers. We need all these things to keep the economy going. What's wrong with that? I just read an article the other day. Walmart is paying their drivers $100,000 a year, entry level drivers, to come out and work. $100,000 a year. No college education.
No, and you brought up such a great with the student loan debt. I encourage folks don't go to college to find yourself while racking up debt at the same time. Get a job. What you want to do with your life is going to change. And yeah, I have other friends and individuals around me that because they racked up that student loan debt have always on a couple occasions have said to me, man, I always want to make that leap in entrepreneurship, but I've got this cloud of debt that spouse would be unhappy or I'd be unhappy or insecure jumping out with that burden. So
It's hard. It is hard. I've got two businesses that failed and a third business I'm succeeding. It's always after passion. But the first two businesses I was carrying student loan debt, and it was tough, but it's a matter of what you want to do. And are you willing to put in the time and effort to get there? And I think that's where there's a little bit of a disconnect between the generations. Unfortunately, the internet has become an instant gratification for a lot of people, and they think that's how life is, but they don't realize below the surface of the water, there's all the problems that entrepreneurs go through and the sleepless nights and living on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's tough. It's not meant for everyone, because if everyone could do it, then we would all be doing it.
one of the most ironic terms that I hear thrown out in reports all the time is passive income. And that could be a whole conversation. The individuals that are out there striving for passive income don't realize the activities that have to take place in order to achieve that so-called passive income.
Yeah, and I've never understood that in all my life, especially in the real estate space. Everyone talks about this passive income. Guess what? All the work you've got to do up front, your due diligence to make sure you can get that passive income, because otherwise it'll flop. Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen it where you have other people that are doing it for you, right? Whether it's through funds or syndications, like you've had to have a lot of activity in your life to build the income and the savings in order to be able to invest. It's still not passive at the end of the day.
No, it's not. And you have to work for it. It boils down to, how bad do you want it? Is it your passion? And then once you're passionate about it, then you find a way to do it and you just don't give up. Is everything going to succeed? No, but if it depends on if you get back up every single time, because ultimately you'll find a way if there's a will in there. And I don't know how many, all the entrepreneurs I bring on the show, they all have they have one consistent theme. They're persistent and they stay there. I don't know a lot of other people outside of entrepreneurs or small business owners that are wired that way.
Absolutely. No, if you're idolizing the end goal and not enjoying the journey along the way, you'll burn very fast.
And it's tough to stay at that pace to continue to go. It's a daunting task, to say the least. So let's digress. I got down a hole, and I always do. So let's talk about what you're doing and your entity. So what got you there, and why did you start these businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I take it back to one of my goals in life is just to be able to pursue passion and opportunity regardless of time and location. So I don't have a dollar amount attached to that. I don't have a revenue amount necessarily attached to that, because I know if I'm focused on the revenue and the dollar amount, that's going to be a distraction. It's going to be heartburn along the way. Versus if I can reflect back on what my why is as an individual and what I want from my family and community and people around me, it can help me go a lot further and have that stomach for the pain along the journey. So with that in mind, my journey started in the entrepreneur space. Going to my wife, we had a great income. I had worked my way up to head analyst on a portfolio. We had about $2.5 billion of real estate at that time, the company that I was working for. Great salary. We were flipping a house. We had a rental property and life was good. We were in the Midwest. Like, this is supposed to be the dream. And I went to her, said, hey, what if we got rid of all that? What if we tried this thing, entrepreneurship? And of course, I think her jaw hit the floor. We had multiple conversations over a few months. And at that time, I started to sit back and reflect on my schedule, what I was doing, and realize, hey, I've got a wife and two young kids. If I want to keep those in my life, like, something has to change. We ultimately made the decision to leap out into Colorado. This is the first point really in my life that I didn't have the A to B to Z planned out, wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, but knew we needed to get the kids near the grandparents and my wife near her family and have some support system. Through that, started consulting. I fell into financial planning really as hey, I've got investment management experience. I'd like to build personal relationships. Let's do that. Built up a planning practice, realized my passion was around having conversations like these every day with business owners that are up to big things that are impacting their communities, and wanted to build a life around that. So my personal goal was to sit down and talk to over 100 entrepreneurs and ask question after question of what their challenges were, what their opportunities were, where they got their advice from, the challenges there. And there were a few key sticking points there that I realized, hey, the service that I'm providing now doesn't allow me to leap out, do that, and talk to them about the specific things I want to work with them on. So ultimately had to sell the financial planning practice, the book of business, to another advisor in town, and took the leap into more of a personal CFO role, getting to work with startups to larger organizations as well, and getting to sit on the personal and the business side of life for these entrepreneurs. Ultimately, at a high level, that took us down the path into real estate back again, into investing in that, and merging the marketing agency out of Cincinnati as well, which is why it's brought me back to the Midwest again. So 10,000 or 30,000 foot view, that's the story there.